Welcome to another pixelforlife.com video tutorial. In today's lesson, we're going to learn how to create a PHP mail form that we can actually send an email out with. It's going to consist of two different files. You're going to have your main PHP file, which is going to have all of your HTML information for your actual mail form itself. And then the second file is actually going to be used to send that email out to a specific email address. So be sure to follow along as closely as you can, and let's go ahead and get started. First thing we need to do is we need to go ahead and create the two files. So this first one is going to be file save as. I'm going to go to my desktop, and I'm just going to create a new folder here. And I'm just going to call it PHP mail form. And we're just going to do the basic HTML on all of this. That way it won't take as long on the lesson, but on this HTML page, you can use CSS and whatever you want to do to really make it, pop out and look great later on. It's totally up to you. But this first one is just going to be called contact.php, which is going to be our contact page. Now I'm also going to go to save as and save another file, and this one here is going to be called send_contact.php. And this is going to be the actual file that sends out our information. So with that, let's go to File and Open. And go ahead and go to the contact notepad here. And from here, we're going to go ahead and basically start creating our code. So we're going to start with our HTML. So go ahead and put our HTML code in here. And I'll then go ahead and end the HTML just so that that's done. I'll go ahead and put a head section just so that we have that. And in here, I'll go ahead and put title, so that our title of the page is my very first contact form. And we'll end that title tag, and that's done with the head section. Now we're going to go ahead and create our body tag. Misspelled that. And the body tag. Now inside this body tag, we're going to be creating several different properties. And if you have a WYSIWYG editor, what you see is what you get editor, like Dreamweaver, Go Live, Trillion, Front Page, whatever it is you like to use. You can create your mail form in that. So don't worry about having to follow this coding section precisely. But when it comes to naming the actual contact forms, you're going to want to keep those in a file that you know, so that when you create your PHP file, you can make sure they line up. And I'll show you all of that a little bit later. So don't worry about that. But first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and create a table here. And this table is going to be a width of around 450 pixels, we'll go with. And I want to go ahead and put a border on this that equals 0, because I basically don't want it to have a border, and that's what that does. And then I'm also going to put a line center on this, so that everything that is inside of this is aligned to the center of the page. And I'll go ahead and put some cell padding as well, just so that everything is kosher and looks good. And I'll put the value at 3 for that, and also cell spacing. I'll put that at 1, just because I don't want to have anything like interfering in the way or anything like that. And I actually have an extra space here that I need to get rid of, because I don't need that there. And I'm just going back over it myself, make sure all looks good, which it does. Alright, so then I'm going to go ahead and I hate all these pop-ups on my computer. I'm going to go ahead and put a TR here for a break, and start the next section, which is actually going to be a TD. And then I'm going to go and put strong, which is going to be so that my text that I'm going to put in is not going to be like bolded. I'm going to put in contact form, and I'll then end that tag, and then I'll also end the TD as well. And that creates my first line in my table for me. And now I can go ahead and finish that out. Finish that table there. And that's good. So that's the first table all done. And I'm actually going to go ahead and just, too much there. Put this all on one line so that everything is just more in line with everything. I'll go ahead and drop this table down though, so that it is definitely a separate line. I'm then going to copy this right here, because I want to keep everything relatively the same except for the cell padding. I want to change that to 0, and my cell spacing I'll leave at 1. And I can then go down here and start my next section, which is going to be for the actual form itself. So here I have my TR and then my TD. And then I'm going to go ahead and just drop my form in here, which is going to be form name equals form 1. And then I'll put a space there, and I want to put method equals post, which is actually going to allow it to be posted to the file that we're going to specify. If you use get, it won't work, so make sure that you follow that. And we're going to go ahead and put action equals send underscore contact.php. And if you named your files differently than I'm showing you, then you would change it here in accordance with it, so that it doesn't get all messed up. Alright, so that's your contact form there. And now we haven't closed that form out because I'm actually going to go ahead and create a table now inside of that form. And the form is actually going to be, or the end form tag will be on the end of it. So with that, I want to go ahead and just duplicate this here again. And what I want to change is the table width. I want to put to 100%, which is your Shift 5 key if you don't know. And leave the rest the same except for the cell padding, which I'm going to put back at 3. And from there, I can go ahead and go create a new TR, TD space width equals 16%. And this is just going to keep everything so that it can definitely move around a little bit and not be so stagnant. But go ahead and close that TD tag out there, and I'm going to go ahead and create another one. TD width equals 2%. And the reason I only want this one to be 2% is because it is only a semicolon, so it doesn't need to be real big. And the next one I'm going to do is going to be my TD width equals, equals 82%. And this one needs to be bigger because it's actually the subject line or subject form line. So go ahead and end that there, and then I'm going to go ahead and go to input name equals subject and then I'm going to put a space and go to type, and this is where I'm going to actually specify the type of form that it is, which in this case is just a text field. Put another space, put ID, and then we're going to ID it with a name. So ID equals subject. And remember, if you're changing these names, this is one of those ones that you need to keep track of so that you know what it is. Size will be 50-ish. Maybe you can go a little bigger than that, but we'll start with 50 and we'll see how it looks at the end. And then I'm going to end that TD tag like that. And that is the subject line input field. After that, I'm going to go ahead and close this TR tag here because that section there is done. And now I'm going to go down, create a new TR section, and put TD. And this one here is going to be detail or info, whatever you want to put there. Really, it really is up to you. TD. And then I'm going to put my semicolon here. And from there, I'm going to create another TD, and I'm going to go ahead and create my text area name, and that's going to equal detail. Again, if you're going to change the names, this is one of those ones that you need to do. And this one I'm going to put some column section in here so that it knows that I need to definitely have a certain amount of space. Rows, I'll put 4. And then the ID is going to be detail, is going to be the name. Like that. And then I can close that, and then I can go ahead and close the text area. Like that. And then I'll go ahead and close that TD tag as well. And now that section is done, so I need to go ahead and close that TR tag. Like that. And now I'm going to go ahead and create the next section, which is going to be the name field. And to do this, I'm simply going to copy this field here, because actually I could copy this whole entire section here. That way I don't have to type all that stuff over again. Go ahead and come down here and paste it. And I don't need to put all of the widths on here because the first one was done. So I can just put the TD itself. I can get rid of that. Get rid of that. And with that, I'll go ahead and change this to name. And input the name here, we're going to go ahead and change from subject over to name, obviously. And then we also need to change the ID to name. But the size is exactly the same, so we don't have to worry about that. Now, the next one is exactly the same thing again. So we're just going to copy this section, paste it, and this one here is going to be the email field. So we'll go and put email here. Input name equals email. Or actually, let's make this a little bit better. Let's go ahead and put customer underscore mail. That way, it's definitely specified from email address to mailing address, etc. And then the ID needs to be changed as well over to customer email or mail. My bad. And again, size is definitely 50. So we'll go ahead and leave that. And that TR is already ended there for us. So we can drop down a couple more lines, and after that, we can go ahead and start a new section here. And we'll go with TR. And then we'll drop down. We're going to go ahead and put TD. And we're going to do the @ symbol and put NB SP colon TD, closing that. And I want to have 2 of these in here. And this is just the breaking point. So make sure I have 2 of those in there. And then I want to drop down, and I want to go ahead and create my actual submit button. So I'm going to go ahead and put TD. And then I'll go ahead and put input type equals submit. And then the name equals submit with a capital. And then I want to go ahead and put my value. And this value is actually what's telling the form to go ahead and do what it's supposed to do. And that value is going to be submit as well. And then we can end that there. And that's the first one. That's just the submit button itself. And then we're going to go ahead and copy this because we need 2 different buttons here. And this next one is going to be we're going to go ahead and put the input type as reset. The name will be submit to. And the value will be reset. Now from there, we just need to go ahead and close off of all the things that we've already created, which the first one, I'm going to go back up to this other line, is going to be the TD tag. And after that TD tag, we then have our TR tag there. and then we have the overall table tag, spelled table tag, which is there. We needed to make sure that was done. We'll go ahead and move this up a line here. Just trying to keep the sections nice and separated so it all looks nice and clean. So we have the table, and then we have the form. We're going to go ahead and close. And after the form, we have that overall TD tag we need to close. And then the final TR tag, /TR. And then from there, we have the final table tag. And just like that, our script is, or our page should now be done. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. And I want to make sure that it looks the right way. So I'm going to go into contact.php and go to open. I'm going to select the program from a list because I just literally haven't done this before. So I'm going to go ahead and select Internet Explorer here. And you'll see when it comes up. Open it. And the reason it's not wanting to open is because it is a PHP file, and it can't display that, unfortunately. But as long as you followed all of what we typed in, it should work perfectly fine. Just upload it to your server, and then you'll be able to actually view it. So that's the actual contact page. Now let's go ahead and go to our send contact file, and I'm going to open this with Notepad. And I have this file open here in the back because I'm going to need it. And let's go ahead and create our coding, okay? So, first thing we need to do is we need to open up the PHP file, which is a bracket $PHP. And then I'm going to go ahead and specify this here, which is going to be contact subject. And put a space here. And the reason I want to do this is because I simply want it to be usable in case you decide you ever want to give it to somebody else. They'll know what to adjust and such. So we're going to put subject in here, and then you're going to go to equals subject, and you're going to end it with a semicolon. And we'll go ahead and drop down, put two of these, put details. And then I'm going to put message equals, this is going to be detail, which is the name we used on our actual file, if you remember. And after details, we're going to go to mail of, that did not come out right. Mail of sender. And this is going to be the mail form, or from, my bad, form, Shannon. And we're going to do from there we're going to do customer underscore email. And I believe these should all have spaces on them, just an FYI. And we're going to close that out, which is customer email, or customer mail, it actually needs to be, is what we named our form, now that I remember back. And from there, we're going to go ahead and create another section called from. In this from, we're going to put header equals form, or from. I keep wanting to do form. I don't know why. My brain is like programmed for it. I'm going to put semicolon and then put name space bracket mail underscore from bracket like that. And that should be right. And from there, we're going to go ahead and create our actual email address. So enter your email address and put 2 equals And I'm going to put pfltuts@gmail.com because that is our email address. If you guys have any questions, concerns, tutorial ideas, anything, you can always send it to us there. We always get them and we always respond, just an FYI. From there, I'm going to drop down and go to send_contact equals mail. And then we're going to put a round bracket in here, which is the Shift 9 key on your keyboard. We're going to put 2, and then we're going to do subject, and we'll do message. And this is just telling which fields to be expecting. And that's header, Shift 0, which is your end bracket, and then semicolon. Drop down to the next line. And then now we need to create the script to make sure that it has definitely sent it out. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to put / check if, actually this needs to be check if message sent to your email. Drop down the next line. Display message we've received your information. Sometimes I forget how to spell and I have to do it in my head. It's pathetic. And then we're going to go ahead and put if you have sent the contact form, end bracket, and then we're going to open up with a curly bracket, and then drop down the next line and put echo, and then I'll go ahead and copy this here. We're going to echo, we've received your information, like that, and then end of the semicolon, drop down, end the squiggly bracket, and then you're going to put an else statement, which would be like, so echo this, otherwise, if that doesn't work, squirrely bracket, go ahead and echo error. And then we can drop down and end that squiggly bracket, and then we'll end our PHP file. And this could all be definitely spread out a little bit more so that you know they can definitely read it a little bit better to know what exactly is going on. So we'll go ahead and spread that out a little bit just so that can definitely. And if you actually open this up in an actual PHP editor, it will already look a lot better and be doing things a whole lot better. Trust me. So I'm just going to scan over this again to kind of make sure I have everything closed off the way it should. And it appears that I do. I believe I need to get rid of the spaces here on these from the equals. I believe it equals and it stays right next to it, if I'm not mistaken. Hard to remember. I haven't done PHP in so long. But we'll go ahead and save this file, and I'll go ahead and upload this to the server, and we'll see if it works. The last thing that we need to do is I needed to go back into this text area section and make sure that I had this backslash on this text area because it was not there before. And then when I uploaded the script, it's all listed here, and you can fill out whatever you want in it. And after you do that, you hit submit, and the contact form works, and it says we've received your information. If it didn't work, it would say error. So I hope you guys enjoyed this lesson on how to create a mail form with PHP, and we will see you in the next lesson soon.